Welcome back to Graveyard Mile, the show where America's loneliest highways, darkest towns, and forgotten towers whisper what the dead still remember. Tonight, we're heading north, way north, to the frozen edge of Minnesota, where the snow never really melts, and sometimes the dead don't rest easy. They say there's a certain kind of quiet you only hear at 3 a.m., the kind that hums inside your ears and makes you feel like the world's already ended. That's the sound Eli Warner knew best. At 24, he was the youngest air traffic controller at Eldridge Regional Airport, a tiny strip of concrete hidden between black pine trees and frozen lakes in northern Minnesota. Population, 6,000. Flights per night, maybe 2. But that night, February 18th, the snow came in sideways. Whiteout conditions. A Category 3 blizzard howling off Lake Superior. And Eli was the only one in the tower. He watched the radar screen blink in sickly green flashes. The heater had gone out an hour ago. He was nursing cold coffee when a voice cut through the static on the ground frequency. "Control, you got someone on the tarmac?" Eli frowned. There shouldn't have been anyone out there. He grabbed the binoculars, peered through the frost fog glass, and froze. Under the floodlights, half swallowed by snow, stood a woman, barefoot, wearing a thin white dress that fluttered like it was underwater. Her hair whipped around her face, but even through glass, Eli could tell her eyes were wrong. Just black. Not dark black, like holes burned into film. He snatched a radio. "Flight 212. Say again, you got visual?" "Negative, tower. There's nothing down there." Eli blinked. The woman was gone. At first, he thought he was just seeing things. Exhaustion, isolation, too much caffeine. But then came the footsteps. Wet, slow, squish, squish, squish. He looked down. Across the linoleum floor were bare footprints, glistening like melting ice. And they led straight to the catwalk door. The wind outside screamed against the steel, and through the tiny glass pane, Eli saw her again, standing on the catwalk railing itself, dress whipping around her like torn silk, staring through the storm. He ran to the door, but when he opened it, there was no one there. Only snow, only wind. By midnight, the blizzard had devoured the airport. Runway lights were out. Power flickered. Backup generators failed. And then the radio. Every channel, every frequency, all lit up at once, hissing and howling. The volume knob spun itself to max. And through the static came a scream, a woman's voice, raw and panicked. "Get out before it burns." The words repeated, over and over, as if the air itself was breaking. Then crack. The reinforced glass in front of him splintered from the cold, a spiderweb of fractures spreading across the pane. Papers lifted off his desk and spiraled through the air like snowflakes caught in a storm. That's when Eli ran. When rescuers found him 3 hours later, he was half buried in a snowdrift by the service road, mumbling about the bride. They said the tower was fine, no fire, no damage except the cracked window. But the security cameras told another story. They showed Eli. They showed the papers flying. They showed him shouting. But no one else. No figure. No woman. A week later, a friend from the airport's maintenance crew pulled him aside. "You know about 88, right?" Eli didn't. Back then, a charter flight carrying a wedding party went down in a blizzard. Same storm line, same stretch of pine. The bride survived the crash, but she was delirious. She saw the lights from the tower and tried to walk there, barefoot in her wedding dress. They found her the next morning, frozen to death at the base of the tower, hands outstretched toward the door. The controller on duty that night, he quit the next day, said he heard someone on the radio, a woman screaming about a fire. There was a small electrical blaze that night. He didn't make it out in time. Some say she still walks the runway in the snow, calling out to anyone who'll listen, not to haunt them, but to warn them. If you ever find yourself on a night shift, staring into a blizzard, and you see a woman in white outside your window, listen. She's not there to hurt you. She's trying to save you from a fire she never escaped. You've been listening to Graveyard Mile, where the road never ends, and neither do the stories.